Hey everybody, it's Steve with Rep PHerse. Welcome back to part 2 in our sales flow builder. In this video, we are going to be running through and creating the steps in the flow that we created in part 1. And we're going to head right over to the flow list. In that last video, we created the test flow. As you can see here, we have no steps in our test flow, and this is the basic information for this flow that we were creating. In this video, we're just going to run through and create a few steps. The way to add steps into a flow is right over here at the Add button. We're going to click on the Add button. It's going to open up a small dialog box asking us for some information about the step that we are creating. For this flow, I'm going to create 5 steps that we can see when we move to the flow dashboard. Now that I've gotten my 5 steps created, you can see a few buttons here. I wanted to demonstrate this very quickly. Let's say we had a step out of order, or we wanted to reorder steps. The easiest way to do that is if we simply click these buttons, it's going to resort the list. So if we're here on this one, it will move this step down. If we click this button, move down, or this step up if we click move up. So we can click up, and then we could click down, and so now you'd have first step, third step, second, fifth, and fourth. This is good if you wanted to adjust how your information's going out to your contacts, or if you're trying to adjust how to move your projects through a flow. From here, we want to open this into our flow dashboard. There's 2 ways you can do that. The easiest way is going to be by clicking this button right here, Open Flow in Dashboard. You can also click the flow, and then you just have to click on the drop-down menu to get to the correct flow. As you can see, we are now in the flow dashboard with the flow selected as the test flow that we had just created, starting in our first step. Remember, we put the third step as the second step, so it's going to read first, third, second, and then if we walk through, you're going to notice that the headers change. So now you're saying second, fifth, fourth, which was the order that we had created in our test flow. If we want to go back and change our flow, we can click Show the Flow Details, and that will bring us right back to the flow details. Let's adjust our flow steps so that they are now in order again, so it makes a little sense. We are now step 1, step 2, or third step, and then fourth and fifth. So we're back. We've reordered our steps. Now that we're here, we want to add in a project. The quickest way to add in a new project is to just click the Create New Project button, and it will open up a form that will allow us to fill in the information that we specified in our flow builder. We're just going to create our project. This information you want to make sure is informative and descriptive enough so that you know what's going on when you come back to this project later on. Projects are a collection of comments and information. So this is where we're kind of joining all of our different records into one place. Our flow is defaulted to the current flow that we're in, which is our test flow, and it defaults to the first step. If we wanted to drop this project into another step, you can do that here by selecting one of the other steps that are part of this flow. We're going to leave it as the first step, as most often you're going to start in order from first step through the end step. Companies, this is opening up our companies tab or our businesses. It will grab us a list of all the businesses that we have available. Currently in my system, I have just a single business, so we're going to click on that one because it is a required column with this little asterisk. Contacts are also required, so we're going to click here. We can, in this case, since it's a required column, we have to select at least one contact, but we can select as many contacts as we want. I'm going to select a few just so that you can see it once we open up the project. This next update due by column is just pulling the current date and the number of days in the current step, and then adding them together and putting it as that date. Lines discussed. Again, we've created this as a required column, so we need to select at least one of the lines that we are planning on talking about with these customers. Remember, we created a square footage, so we're just going to put a number in there. This is for your records, and again, we're just going to put 1. And then some text. Anytime you see an asterisk here, that means that these rows are required, so they need to have some kind of data. This project anticipated completion column, what that is talking about is when are we expecting this to be finished. If we have an overarching due date of, let's say, a couple of months from now, it automatically defaults to 30 days from the current date, but you can select a date picker here, or you can simply type the date that you want in the box. These are the team members that we want to be included in this project. If your user account doesn't have assignment properties, then you won't see this, but if you do, you can assign any number of your coworkers to this project so they may also see it and add updates to it as they see fit. It always defaults to your current account, which in this case I'm using my test account, which is the just in case, so he is automatically defaulted to this project. When we're done with all the information, we'll go ahead and hit save, and you're going to see that our project is now listed in the first column here in our flow. I'm going to give you a little bit of information about the actions and buttons that are included in the project flow dashboard. First buttons that you're going to see is close project. This is the same as it is in the contacts flow, so by clicking this it will open a dialog box and ask you to enter one of the close conditions that we created during our flow builder stage. In this case we just have the 2, closed 1, closed lost. Remember, you can choose and create as many of these as you want. This button is the same as our contact, is just move it to the next step. So by clicking that, it's going to move you into the next step. Again, just like in the contacts, we can click and drag and move them around as well. This is an add comment button. If we are looking at a number of projects all in a row and we want to quickly add a comment to the project, to this particular project, we can click this button. It will open up our comment form and we can quickly go through and add in the comment that we want. As you can see, it puts in the information that is attached to the project that we're working on already, and then you can simply just type in here, add a comment to this project. If we want to add a method, we can do that. I'm going to just do the add new option so that it has some data there. We're going to hit save. The last button that you have here is add a task. Let's say we want to do something down the road and add a task in our to-do list. This is really easy. We can click right here. This is our task form. You can find this form in many different places. From here, all you want to do is create the task that we have. So we're going to say do something. I would suggest having a little bit more descriptive information about what you're trying to do. We can attach a method. So what are we trying to do? Let's say this is a phone call. Do something. We'll change this to call somebody. Call somebody. Or actually, we can just call it call and then talk about something. Here we can add in the person that we want to talk to. So we're just going to say Nora Parker because she's right at the top there. This is a business. If this is a task that you're trying to do with a business that you work with, you can attach that information here. This is pulling the records from our project data, so that's where that's coming from. And then you want to make sure that you create a due date. Currently, our due dates are a full day event, so you have till the end of day on the 12th to complete this. If you don't complete this by the end of day, it will say that it is past due, and in your to-do list, it will show up as red. We're going to hit save. Now you can see a little icon here that says show tasks. Any project that has tasks attached to it will have this little icon. If we click on this icon, it shows you a filtered list of just the tasks that are attached to that project. I'm going to make this a task that is past due. So I'm going to quickly edit this task. I'll just call it the 8th and hit save. As you can see, if you have a past due task, it makes the title red and says past due. In our flow dashboard, it also highlights this icon as red as well. So if you see any projects that have a red show task icon, that means you have an out of date task, and you should probably prioritize that moving forward. If we simply click on our project, it will show us all the details of that project. Now you can see in a lot more information all the details on the project. This is our description, when the recent activity was, what our project anticipated completion is, flows it's in, the current step, when it was created, when our next update is by, who are the team members that are involved, customers that are involved, how many comments have we created about this project, tasks attached, and what are the lines that we've talked about. We're going to go back to our flow. At the top here, we have the breadcrumbs. You can also click back on the flow and it will bring you right back there as well. Now that we're back in the flow, I am going to close out this project so that our flow is empty. We're going to say closed one because we did a great job. And now we can tell that all of our steps are currently empty and we have nothing to do, which is great. That's how we want our projects to be. That's it for creating steps and being able to add projects to those flows.